A Russian drone strike on Ukrainian grain exporting port has damaged warehouses. Several buildings have been set on fire. This comes hours before Russian President Vladimir Putin held talks with his Turkish counterpart Recep Tayyip Erdogan. Russia targeted Danube River port of Izmail in Ukraine's Odessa region. Ukraine's Air Force said that it had shot down 23 out of 32 Iranian-made Shahed drones launched from Russian territory and from Crimea. Russia's former president Dmitry Medvedev has said that some 280,000 people have signed up this year for professional military service. This comes almost a year after Russia announced a plan to expand its military. Russian President Vladimir Putin had ordered a partial mobilization of 300,000 reservists in September 2022. The move had prompted hundreds of thousands of people in Russia to flee the country as they did not want to be sent to the front line. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has decided to dismiss Defense Minister Oleksiy Reznikov from his post. Zelensky would ask Parliament to replace Reznikov with Rustem Umerov. He is the head of Ukraine's main privatization fund. This comes as the biggest shakeup of Ukraine's defense establishment since Russia invaded the country in February 2022. Reznikov was named defense minister in November 2021. He has helped secure billions of dollars of Western military aid to fight the war, but he faces graft allegations surrounding his ministry. Zelensky has said that he has struck a very important agreement on training pilots in France. Zelensky said that he had a conversation with French President Emmanuel Macron. France does not have the F-16 fighter jets that Ukraine has been demanding. However, it does have French-made Rafale warplanes and Mirage 2000 jets. Zelensky and Macron also discussed what France could do to protect the Ukrainian city of Odessa. The city is critical for grain exports. US President Joe Biden has said that he is disappointed that his Chinese counterpart Xi Jinping will not be attending G20 summit in India's New Delhi. Biden added that he is going to get to see him. Xi has pulled out of G20 at a time when India and China ties have soured. Last week, China released a map showing India's territory as its own. New Delhi protested against Beijing's move. Clashes broke out between ethnic groups in the northern Iraqi city of Kirkuk on Saturday. At least 3 protesters were shot dead and more than a dozen people were injured. The dispute centers around a building in Kirkuk which was once a headquarters for the Kurdistan Democratic Party or KDP. The Iraqi army has been using this building as a base since 2017. The government wants to return this building to KDP in a show of goodwill. However, Arab and Turkmen opponents had set up a camp outside the building to protest the move. Gabon's military leadership has opened the country's borders. This comes as the nation prepares for the swearing-in of transitional junta leader General Brice Oligui Nguema. Gabon's armed forces seized power on the 30th of August. President Ali Bongo was removed and placed under house arrest minutes after he secured a 3rd presidential term in the recent election. Japan has extended a $100 million loan to Jordan. This is to help the country's electricity sector reforms. Japan's Foreign Minister Yoshimasa Hayashi met his Jordanian counterpart Ayman Safadi. Japan has contributed over $4 billion in loans to Jordan in recent decades. Authorities in South Africa's Johannesburg are probing the cause of a devastating fire that engulfed an illegally occupied building on Thursday. The death toll in the incident has gone up to 76. Before the fire, some 200 people were living in the building. After a thorough search, no more victims have been found. The investigation has been handed over to the South Africa's National Police Force. The Indian Space Research Organisation or ISRO successfully launched its first ever solar mission called Aditya L1 on Saturday. It successfully lifted off from the Satish Dhawan Space Center located in the Indian state of Andhra Pradesh. Aditya L1 has now separated from the fourth stage of its polar satellite launch vehicle, and it has begun its journey in space. This comes just days after ISRO successfully executed its Chandrayaan-3 mission. Foreign ministers of the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, or ASEAN, met in Indonesia's Jakarta. ASEAN nations will discuss Myanmar, the South China Sea, and the region's economy during the summit. ASEAN has agreed on a peace plan that calls for an end to violence in Myanmar. It is also called the 5-point consensus. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be attending the ASEAN summit in Jakarta. Moving to climate, Typhoon Saola has now weakened to a tropical storm. This was after it hit the southern Chinese province of Guangdong over the weekend. Local media said that railway operations and airlines were allowed to gradually resume after the typhoon weakened. Earlier, Typhoon Saola had forced businesses, schools, and financial markets in China to shut down. Typhoon Haikui has brought fierce winds and torrential rain to the southeast coast of Taiwan. Footage showed the powerful force of the wind tearing through various parts of the island. Domestic flights have been cancelled and almost 4,000 people were evacuated. Haikui became the first typhoon to directly hit Taiwan in 4 years. 2 men were have gone missing after torrential rain hit central Spain. Few subway lines in Madrid and high-speed train connections were closed. A video shows water streaming into a subway carriage on Madrid's metro line. Spain's National Weather Agency issued a red alert. Madrid's mayor also advised residents to stay at home. US President Joe Biden traveled to the state of Florida on Saturday. He was there to survey the destruction from Hurricane Idalia. Joe Biden took an aerial tour and received a briefing from local officials and first responders. However, he did not meet Florida's Governor Ron DeSantis. The US state of Nevada has experienced extreme rains. Streets turned into rivers due to the deluge. The rains have inundated the Las Vegas Valley. The National Weather Service issued a flash flood warning for central Clark County, including Las Vegas. More than 600 flights were delayed and over 108 were cancelled. Meanwhile, nearly 4,000 people grappled with power outages. In Greece, firefighters battled another fire at the Dadia National Park. Greece is seeing Europe's deadliest blaze this summer. The wildfire in its northern region has killed at least 20 people. It has scorched forests and destroyed homes and livelihoods. Scientists have said that climate change has made the fires more intense this year. Africa has kicked off its first climate summit in Kenya. The delegates are expected to discuss ways to fund the continent's environmental policies. Organizers are anticipating the announcement of millions of dollars in deals at the 3-day summit. Rice farmers in Indonesia are seeing their harvest dwindle. This is because they have barely seen any rain since April. The El Niño weather phenomenon has brought the driest weather to Indonesia in 4 years. This has caused rice supplies to go down. Consequently, prices have soared. In Cuba, scientists are studying how to protect coral reefs. They are studying the health of Cuba's reefs, fish, and sea life. The Cuban sea floor once contained colorful corals, which have now turned into patchy white splotches. This is due to the warming of seawater, overfishing, pollution, and other threats. Now on to business and tech. Credit rating agency Moody's raised its 2023 economic growth forecast for the United States. It now expects the US economy to grow by 1.9%. This is an increase from its previous forecast of 1.1% growth. Meanwhile, Moody's has cut its 2024 growth estimate for China. The agency said that China is facing considerable growth challenges. This is due to weak business and consumer confidence amid an uncertain economy. Canada's economy unexpectedly contracted in the second quarter. Its gross domestic product declined by 0.2%. The reading was far lower than Bank of Canada's forecast of 1.5% annualized growth. This was largely due to slower international exports and household spending. In June, the Canadian wildfires also adversely impacted multiple industries. This includes mining and quarrying and rail transportation. China has announced the establishment of a private economic development bureau. This is to strengthen the country's private economy through policy coordination. The private sector contributes approximately 60% of the country's GDP. Reports say chip designer ARM is planning to ask investors to pay $47 to $51 for each of its shares. This is when the company begins marketing its initial public offering. The price would put its valuation in the range of $50 to $54 billion, and that would make ARM the most valuable company to list in New York since 2021. The London Stock Exchange Group has reportedly drawn up plans for a new digital markets business. It will use blockchain technology to offer trading on traditional financial assets. With this, the company aims to make its processes smoother, cheaper, and more transparent. Chinese property stocks rose on Monday. This was after property developer Country Garden averted a possible default. The company has won an agreement from its creditors. This is to repay its key debt over 3 years instead of an early September deadline. Shares in the firm surged more than 13%. An Amazon shareholder has filed a lawsuit against founder Jeff Bezos and the company's board. The lawsuit alleges that the Amazon board awarded contracts worth billions of dollars to Bezos' space company, Blue Origin. This was without considering rival SpaceX as an alternative, despite its better track record. SpaceX is owned by billionaire Elon Musk. India's Financial Crime Fighting Agency has arrested businessman Naresh Goyal. The Enforcement Directorate has said that Goyal will remain in their custody until the 11th of September. His arrest comes over an alleged $65 million money laundering case linked to India's Canara Bank. Goyal is the founder of Jet Airways, and Jet Airways was the second largest carrier in India by market share. However, in 2019, Jet Airways shut down its operations after running out of cash. Meta Platforms is reportedly considering paid versions of Facebook and Instagram. This is for its users in the European Union. Those who pay for the subscriptions will not see any advertisements. Meanwhile, it will also continue with its free versions in the region. That will help Meta combat privacy concerns in the EU as it offers an alternative to its ad-based services. Meta's ad-based services rely on analyzing people's data, which has been criticized by European regulators. Microsoft has shut down its good old WordPad application. The tech giant has said that the application will no longer be supported in its operating system. It will be removed from future releases of Windows. Moving to sports, former Zimbabwe captain Heath Streak has died at the age of 49. Streak was battling liver cancer for a long time and was undergoing treatment in Johannesburg. The news of his demise was shared by his wife on social media. Heath Streak represented Zimbabwe in at least 65 tests and 189 one-day internationals. He was appointed as Zimbabwe's captain in the year 2000. In football, Arsenal beat Manchester United 3-1 in the English Premier League. Marcus Rashford scored the opener for United just 27 minutes into the game. However, Martin Odegaard levelled the score for the Gunners after a minute. The scoreboard remained 1-1 until Declan Rice and Gabriel Jesus netted for Arsenal late in the game. That was during stoppage time. Meanwhile, Liverpool thrashed Aston Villa 3-0. Dominic Szoboszlai scored the first goal for Liverpool. Villa's Matty Cash then netted an own goal to double the lead. Right winger Mohamed Salah sealed the victory for Liverpool as he scored in the 55th minute. In tennis, Aryna Sabalenka is all set to achieve the women's world #1 ranking. The 25-year-old Belarusian will dethrone Iga Swiatek of Poland. This is after Swiatek's fourth-round exit at the US Open. The updated list of rankings will be released on the 11th of September. World #1 Novak Djokovic reached the quarter-final at the US Open. The 36-year-old Serbian eliminated Borna Gojo of Croatia 6-2, 7-5 and 6-4 on Sunday. Djokovic's next opponent is Taylor Fritz from the US. America's Coco Gauff also entered the quarter-final at the US Open. She was facing Denmark's Caroline Wozniacki in the round of 16. Gauff began the match with a 6-3 win in the first set. However, she was overpowered 3-6 by Wozniacki before she rallied back 6-1 in the final set. Next up for Gauff will be Latvia's Jelena Ostapenko. Fifth seed Ons Jabeur of Tunisia made it to the last 16 at the US Open. The 29-year-old registered a 3-set win over Mari Buskova from the Czech Republic. Jabeur emerged victorious 5-7, 7-6 and 6-3 after a match that lasted nearly 3 hours. In Formula One, Red Bull's Max Verstappen won his 10th consecutive race at the Italian Grand Prix. The Dutchman is now the first driver to win 10 races in a row. Verstappen finished ahead of his teammate Sergio Perez, while Carlos Sainz took the third spot. Red Bull has not lost a single race this season. In basketball, Canada advanced to the quarter-final at the FIBA World Cup. They eliminated the reigning champion Spain 88-85, ending a 49-year winless streak against the country. Canada's Shai Gilgeous-Alexander scored 30 points for his team during the match. The 2023 World Weightlifting Championships will kick off today. The event is being held in Saudi Arabia's capital, Riyadh. 6 Indians, Mirabai Chanu, Achinta Shioli, Ajit Narayan, Bindya Rani Devi, Gurdeep Singh and Shubham Tanaji Todkar will be featuring in the championship. However, Mirabai Chanu will only be attending the weigh-in. The championship acts as a qualifier for the 2024 Paris Olympics. In athletics, India's Avinash Sable has qualified for the Diamond League final, which will be held in Eugene in the US. This is after he finished 5th in the men's 3,000 meters steeplechase race at the Xiamen Diamond League on Saturday. Sable clocked a time of 8 minutes and 16.27 seconds. Moving to entertainment, Spanish actor Gabriel Guevara was arrested at the Venice Film Festival on alleged sexual assault charges. He is famous for the Spanish teen film franchise My Fault Culpa Mia. Reports say that there was an active international warrant out for Gabriel for an alleged sexual assault in France. The 22-year-old actor was meant to receive an award called the Filming Italy Prize on the sidelines of the film festival. Singer Joe Jonas has reportedly retained a divorce lawyer after 4 years of marriage with Game of Thrones actor Sophie Turner. Some reports say that Joe Jonas has been consulting with divorce lawyers in Los Angeles and is preparing to file one. He was also recently spotted without his wedding ring. Joe Jonas and Sophie Turner met in the year 2016 and got engaged the following year. They have 2 daughters together. Actor Kevin Costner has spoken out about his struggles while going through a divorce. In a recent interview, Costner said, and I quote, "This is a horrible place to be, but this is where we are at. It feels so bad. We are talking about somebody I love on the other side." Costner also said that he still has love for his estranged wife, Christine Baumgartner. A judge has lowered the child support that Costner has to pay to Baumgartner to about $63,000 per month. Real Housewives of Beverly Hills star Kyle Richards has confirmed her split with husband Mariako Umansky. She said, and I quote, "It has been very hard. It is playing out with so many people having eyes on us and being in the public eye." The couple rose to fame when they starred in Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. They have 3 daughters together and one from Richards' previous marriage. The couple is separating after 27 years of marriage. Actor Josh O'Connor has opened up about the fame he got after playing the role of King Charles in the hit drama series The Crown. He said, and I quote, "I think sometimes we underestimate how powerful even a slight loss of anonymity can be." 33-year-old O'Connor added, "What I was doing in my career before The Crown, I just wanted to carry on doing that." O'Connor played the role of King Charles in the 3rd and 4th season of The Crown opposite actor Emma Corrin, who played Princess Diana. The Burning Man festival taking place in America's Nevada descended into chaos amid severe flooding. 1 person was killed and thousands were stranded in the Black Rock Desert. Organizers blocked vehicles' access on Saturday. The festival has also been shrouded in misinformation over an outbreak of the deadly Ebola virus. Model Miranda Kerr has announced that she is pregnant with a 4th child. Kerr is a mother to 3 boys, one of whom she shares with her former husband, Orlando Bloom. The model also opened up on her favorite thing about motherhood. She said, and I quote, "Seeing the world through my children's eyes and understanding that each of them has a different way of seeing the world." Rapper Post Malone has shared details of his weight loss journey. The artist shared a mirror selfie on Instagram showing his physical transformation. The 28-year-old rapper recently appeared on a podcast where he said, and I quote, "Soda is so bad. It is bad, but it is so good." Post Malone had earlier slammed rumors surrounding his weight loss journey and said he's incorporating lifestyle changes to become a father. French actor and director Matthew Kassovitz was involved in a serious motorcycle accident. The incident occurred at a motor racing circuit south of Paris. The actor was immediately rushed to a hospital where he gained recognition, or rather Kassovitz gained recognition in the film industry in the year 1995 with movie La Honte. And finally, singer-songwriter Jimmy Buffett has died at the age of 76. The cause of his death is not known yet. Buffett called his music drunken Caribbean rock and roll. He is most famous for his song Margaritaville, which was released in the year 1977. Several Hollywood celebrities paid tribute to Buffett. Singer Elton John called him a unique and treasured entertainer. In an Instagram post, John said, and I quote, "A lovely man gone way too soon."